This is our very own Jack Whitehall, pictured in this week's News of the World, racking up some of his top secret business on his mobile phone. Poor Jack, though, you know, who are we to judge? You know, for all we know, there could be a perfectly innocent reason for the whole thing.
This is the eye snort.
He's been on the naughty step all week, but we finally managed to bribe the nanny, and he's here for you this evening. Please welcome Mr. Jack Whitehall!
Quite a slow week in terms of celebrity news. As Paddy very kindly pointed out to you there, someone made a little bit of a tit out of themselves last weekend. Sorry for what I did. I have to accept the consequences of my actions. I'm here talking to you tonight, and then I'm off straight afterwards to talk to Frank. As I was told, there'll be lots of paparazzi. There'll be a media storm for a couple of days, and I still live at home with my mum and dad. So I told my mum, she was like, it's all right, we'll just barricade ourselves into the house. We won't leave for the whole weekend. We were all prepared for Sunday morning. The newspaper got printed. One guy outside. One Japanese man with a camera stood outside my house for 20 minutes. And I'd specifically prepped my dad, do not antagonize the press. It will not reflect good on me. So you can imagine my horror when I woke up to hear my dad storming down the stairs, muttering something about Pearl Harbor, then smashing the door behind him, walking up to the guy who by this stage I'd realised could quite easily have just been a tourist that was lost, standing in front of him, then shouting up to my mother, Hillary, we've got a Japarazzi on the lawn. But, you know, I was stupid. I was very, very stupid. But, you know, people make mistakes. There's scandal everywhere. BNP leader Nick Griffin, he's been invited to the Queen's Royal Annual Garden Party, and people are up in arms. I think we should look for the positives. I mean, at least if he is invited, Prince Philip will have someone to talk to. Although, yeah, they'll get on like a corner shop on fire. I imagine... The royals have been everywhere. Prince Harry, he's been in South Africa doing charity work, yeah. He went to an orphanage, which I think is great. He can sympathise with the kids. He doesn't know who his dad is either. But the big celebrity story, obviously, this week, is that it is the year anniversary of the death of the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Oh, it's sad, you know, like, you know, it's been a year since he's died, but even now people are finding it very hard to come to terms with the loss of Michael Jackson. And, yeah. It's said in the newspapers that he's earned nearly £1 billion since he's died, and you can imagine the beneficiaries in his will rubbing their hands with glee. And you think... He hasn't stopped working since he's died, though, Michael Jackson. They've released albums, there's been cover versions, they had the film, This Is It, which I went to see, it was fantastic. Rated PG, which was marvellous. Even after he's dead, parents don't want their kids left alone with him. But it's very depressing. I remember vividly still now Michael Jackson's death, because it was the same thing, I think, for everyone. As soon as he died, your phone went mental. 100 text messages from just like everyone you've ever met. And you got jokes, sick jokes from people that you'd expect to get sick jokes from. But even people that you didn't know had a bad bone in their body were sending you these horrible fucking jokes. Even one from like your granny and religious people, pious people. I bet at the death of Michael Jackson, if you'd gone to the Vatican, the Pope would have been texting all the priest jokes as well. What do you call the death of Michael Jackson? Less competition. But now it's a year on. It's a year on from his death, and we can look back at the hysteria and realise how stupid it all was. Because the stuff people were saying at the time of his death. I watched one woman on the news. She said, as a mother, she was in Swindon, by the way, as a mother, I feel a lot safer now that Michael Jackson is dead. You live in Swindon! What's Jacko going to be doing there? My aunt was the same. My aunt genuinely said to me at the time of Michael Jackson's death, she said, as a mother, I am pleased that Michael Jackson is dead. What do you know? What interest would Michael Jackson have in my cousin? My boring, ugly, plain cousin that did very badly at 11+ exams. He's Michael Jackson. You can criticise him all you want. I don't know whether the allegations were true, but if Michael Jackson was touching kids, he would have had standards. He's Michael Jackson. He could have had any kid that he wanted. He touched Macaulay Culkin. Once you've touched Richie Rich, you don't stoop any lower. That sets the bar pretty fucking high. Richie Rich had his own baseball team. What's my cousin got? Hay fever. Fuck off, Aunt Susan. Oh, you guys have been wonderful. Thank you very much. Enjoy yourselves. Good night.
So I'm here to talk to you about celebrity news, entertainment. One of the big stories, obviously, Glastonbury. Yeah, Glastonbury. Oh, you got some people that went. Very hungover cheers there. The big story from Glastonbury was that U2 had to pull out because Bono injured his back. Yeah, he's actually having to have surgery on his spine. But, you know, hey-ho, I imagine my spine would be pretty screwed as well if I'd spent the last 20 years with my head up my arse. I don't understand it. People do this, oh yeah, everyone was really upset that U2 pulled out of Glastonbury. No, they weren't. I've never met a U2 fan in my entire life. Not even in Ireland. I did a gig in Dublin, right, the week that they were playing there, their hometown, for the first time in 5 years. I went on stage, I said, so who's excited about going to see U2? Complete silence. Only broken by one man who decided in that moment to become the voice of an entire nation. At the back, just shouted out, no, we all think he's a smug fucker as well. They've had some good news, though, U2. They got put on the Forbes list, I don't know if anyone saw this, of the 100 most powerful celebrities in the world, alongside people like Madonna, Lady Gaga, Tiger Woods. I mean, rich, yes, but powerful, no. They've got no powers whatsoever. I mean, how good would that lot be if Dr. Octopus was attacking the city of New York? What are we going to do? He's killing everyone. Quickly, someone get Madonna. She's going to dot one of his arms. What's Lady Gaga? Just coshes him over the back of the head with her cock. And Tiger Woods gets Mrs. Octopus pregnant. Yippee! Rubbish. We've all done that thing, you know, with the superpowers. We're like, oh, what superpower would you most like to have? I did it with my mates down the pub recently. Most of them were like, yeah, power to fly, or like X-ray vision so I can look at tits. Everyone except my mate Joss, who when asked what superpower he would have, straight away said laser eyes. I was like, oh, what? Like Cyclops and X-Men? Nah, laser eye surgery, because, you know, my vision's shit. That's not a superpower, Joss. That's upgrading a power you already have. Not even a power, a sense. That's like me getting asked, Jack, what superpower would you have? Spanish as a second language. What else has been going on? Cheryl Cole, she's dropping her surname of Cole and going back to being Tweedy. Yeah. You know, there's been a lot of rubbish written about their breakup. The worst thing I saw was that it said, Ashley Cole, in doing what he's done to Cheryl, has ruined his reputation. I was like, no, he hasn't. It's Ashley Cole. He hasn't got a reputation to ruin. The last 2 weeks before that happened, he was in the newspapers first for getting in a brawl outside a nightclub. The time after that, for sending photographs of himself naked to strangers. Saying that this has ruined his reputation is a bit like going, oh, do you hear about that Robert Mugabe? Yeah, he doesn't recycle. You know, Ashley Cole made a mistake, but everyone makes mistakes. Cheryl makes mistakes. If you think back to the last X Factor, she made mistakes every week. She spent the entire time to Joe McKelder, I don't know whether you remember, going, oh, Joe, pet, you're just like my little brother, pet, you're just like my little brother. Which little brother would that be, Cheryl? Would it be Andrew Tweedy, convicted of armed robbery and assault? No, because X Factor's still going strong. They're filming it at the moment. And obviously the other reality TV show that's still is Big Brother. It's last ever series of Big Brother, yeah. I watched a couple of episodes, and every time I watch it, there's one person I feel sorry for, and that person is Marcus Bentley. Now, a lot of you won't know who Marcus Bentley is. He is the Geordie guy that does the voiceover. Now, I'm thinking, I've met him a couple of times. He's a very nice fella. He's had steady employment for 10 years, and now suddenly, he hasn't got a job. I feel sorry for him. Like, dear 88 of Marcus is in forced retirement. hammered. He sat at home on the sofa doing nout, eating pot noodle and watching 28 Days Later. Marcus, I'm going out to the supermarket. Mrs. Bentley has just announced that she's planning to go and spend the entire luxury shopping budget. Luxury shopping budget, Marcus? I'm going to Lidl. And do you know why I'm going to Lidl? Because we haven't got any money, because you haven't got off your fat ass and found a job. You useless shit. You on live TV, would you please not swear? We're not on live TV, Marcus. When we will get into your thick skull, there's no more Big Brother, there's no more Diary Room, and there is no more Davina, and there's also no more me. I'm leaving you, Marcus, and I'm taking the kids. Who goes? You decide. You guys have been lovely, and I hope you have an amazing night, because everyone else is fantastic. So thanks very much. Good night. Well, I'm here to talk to you about the world of entertainment and TV. And I guess the first story is this is the last time you can watch this show on an analog TV, because they're being stopped. Every TV now is going to be a digital TV and HD TV. And I love the way they sell HD TVs. It's brilliant. Especially during the World Cup, it's been amazing. I saw an advert the other day. It was like, watch the World Cup in South Africa on our HD TV. It's just like being there. I thought, I don't want a TV that's going to give me AIDS and then steal itself. But I love watching the World Cup on digital TV. My favourite was the Holland game. I don't know whether anyone saw it. And they noticed, because Leonardo DiCaprio was there. And at one point, the camera panned to Leonardo DiCaprio, and there from nowhere, the commentator just went, oh, either that's Matt Damon or Leonardo DiCaprio's put on weight. What? Later, the camera pans along to Charlize Theron, one of the most famous women on the planet, and he's like, oh, that's probably someone's wag. I don't know whose wag that is, but it's definitely someone's wag. No, it's not. It's Academy Award winner Charlize Theron. These just totally unnecessary insults to celebrities. I was just terrified the camera was going to cut to Nelson Mandela and he would have just gone, oh, Chris Akabusi looks like shit. It's been a bad week for George Michael as well. He crashed his car into the Hampstead Heath branch of Snappy Snaps. My initial thought is, what photos were they developing in there that he didn't want the world to see? So it was meant to be the big George Michael resurgence of late, hasn't it? He had his X Factor appearance with Joe McElderry. I love that. It was great. They did their duet. And what I loved about it is Joe McElderry was dubbed the kind of young George Michael. And George Michael was seen as the kind of the father figure to Joe, who was the son. And then what did they come out and sing? Don't let the sun go down on me. Yeah. My thoughts exactly. In other news, my favourite story from this week, I think, is that it was revealed that the royal family cost us 62p per year per person. And most of the tabloids decided to report this by showing us what else 62p we could spend on. It was like, 62p instead of the royal family, that could get you a can of baked beans, super noodles, or a packet of Whatsits. Well, yeah, that couldn't replace the Queen. Instead of a packet of Whatsits opening some shitty hospital in Kent. No, Whatsits, super noodles, and beans isn't an adequate replacement for the monarchy. That's what Kerry Katona served as her main course when she was on Celebrity Come Dine with Me. But what I love, though, as well, is when they say how much the royal family costs, what they always do is they say, yeah, but we've got to remember the royal family are a tourist attraction. They bring in loads of money as a tourist attraction. Yeah, a shit one. Like Chessington World of Adventures, that's a tourist attraction. And I reckon, in these tough economic times, the royal family have got to start thinking outside the box. I want to see Buckingham Palace of Adventures. I want that place to have rides. I want to see roller coasters. I want to see Diana Dodgems. I want to see... see Fergie touting tickets outside to the highest bidder. I want to see Prince Charles offering kids a ride on the back of Camilla down the Mall. Whilst William and Harry just muck out her stable. That's what I want to see. But I like this idea as well of the royal family having to, think outside the box, trying to think of other ways to make money because they're on a budget now. I love the idea of the Queen trying to make money, just trying to flog shit now. That Christmas speech this year is going to be amazing. Hello. Christmas can be a very difficult time of year for everyone, especially if you've had an accident at work. This Queen's speech was brought to you by the Queen in association with Danon and EA Sports. It's in the game. Challenge everything. And finally, in television news this week, all right, it's the start of the latest series of Britain's Next Top Model. Do anyone watch Britain's Next Top Model? Yeah, some fans in. My favourite thing about Britain's Next Top Model is the fact that they've got Ella McPherson, so they're trying to copy the America's Next Top Model, where they got Tyra Banks, who is just amazing. Tyra Banks is one of my favourite people on TV, because she is the most pretentious woman in the world. For those of you that haven't seen it, on America's Next Top Model, each week they have these girls competing to be America's Next Top Model, and at the end, they get judged by Tyra. And Tyra then comes out with the biggest raft of bullshit you've ever seen. It is glorious. She's like, 10 beautiful girls stand before me. Only one can become America's Next Top Model. Shaniqua, this week your shots were fantastic, but unfortunately, as a human being, you have to face up to your issues. And the best way to do this is to take a step back, turn around, and run away. Because you see, life is like a swing. You go forwards and backwards, often using your legs in a kicking motion to propel you to an optimum velocity. But you see, this swing doesn't just go forwards and backwards, it goes left and right, in and out, up and down. It's not like it's swinging tall. In fact, in many ways, it's more like a roundabout that seesaws up and down and swings from left and right. And you have to clasp at each opportunity like it were a monkey bar in a trellising. But don't you ever dare think that life is like a playground, because it is not. It is like a playground without the play or the ground. It is just swinging nothingness. And only then can you truly understand that if you want to become an individual, you have to strive for individuality in a group in unison on your own together momentarily forever. And the most important lesson that you can learn is that if you want to get anywhere in this industry, you've got to stop talking and start listening. You've got to stop using this and start using these, because you're still in the running to become America's Next Top Model. You guys have been absolutely wonderful. And I hope you have an amazing evening. So thanks very much. Good night. Evening. So, this week sees the release of Toy Story 3, yes. It's already had quite a lot of controversy, though, because Toy Story 3, right, a leading feminist magazine in the US, has accused it of being sexist, because it does not have enough female characters in the core cast. Yes, I know. A group of lesbians having a go at plastic toys that move on their own. Yeah. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. I think I agree with them, though. I think Toy Story does need a couple more women in it. Yes. I mean, for a start, who is going to clean Andy's room? They've also said they're remaking Mad Max. Unfortunately, not with Mel Gibson, obviously, because he's not going to be working for quite some time now. Mel Gibson's latest rant was just unbelievable. He called his wife a pig on heat and said that if she went out dressed like she was, she deserved to get raped. Chill out! And he's just completely lost it. But it did make me think, what other Mel Gibson films could you remake now that we know about this? I'd love to see the remake of What Women Want. What Women Deserve, no, Mel. Not want that. He's also insulted practically every minority now. He's nearly done them all. He's done women, gay people, Jewish people. He always blames it on the same thing as well whenever he has one of those outbursts. He's always going, oh, it's because I'm drunk. What? That's not a known side effect of alcoholism, is it? Honestly, don't give me another gin and tonic. I get really blame the Jews for everything, eh? Imagine if Hitler had tried to pull that shit. If you're now, we have destroyed all of the Jews. What? Well, you told the story last night. I have been drinking Jägermeister. They've also released the trailer for the new Harry Potter film, the last one in the Harry Potter film, yeah. I think the films have been great of Harry Potter, and I get so pissed off by those people that do that thing where they go, oh, but of course the book is infinitely better than the film. No, it's not. And do you know why? Because it's a book. Yes, but you can use your imagination when you read the book. Yeah, and do you know what I imagine when I read your silly little book? A film. But it does bring me on to a broader point. There's no films for men anymore. That's the problem. It isn't for, like, lads, you know. And it's in TV as well. TV is getting camper and camper. The most popular TV series in America is Glee, which is the gayest show ever. Yeah. We've got Gleeks in. Yeah. Hey, I'll come clean with you. I have watched Glee. I watched Glee a little bit. I have to be careful, though, watching around the house, because my dad does not approve of me watching something that is so camp and exuberant. I have to be careful. He nearly caught me watching it the other day, but it was all right, just in time. I managed to grab the remote and switch it over to hardcore pornography. He walked in, he was like, Jack, what are you doing? I'm watching heterosexual sex that has absolutely no musical-based element to it whatsoever, Father. I don't believe you. Don't stop believing. Oh, shit. Careful. There's nothing out there. That's the problem. What has happened to summer blockbusters? You've got things like Twilight films, Toy Story, Harry Potter. No! These aren't real summer blockbusters. I remember when a summer blockbuster was a real manly film. Now you're bollocks to the wall extravaganza. Things like The Rock and Face Off and Die Hard. I love Die Hard. A real film. You could go in and see that and you could feel like a man. Even if you're not a manly man like me or the gentleman here, we could feel... You laugh, the gentleman knows he's not a manly man. You wouldn't know where to start with bleeding a radiator, but I bet you make a fantastic bechamel sauce. Look, you can do it. You go see Die Hard 4, you come out of the cinema and you're pumped. You want to burn something or jump out of a moving car or kick a child in the face. You can't do that with the shit that they're pumping out now. You can't do that with Toy Story or Twilight or Sex and the City. Oh no, but Sex and the City has a really good message. Carrie is able to destroy temptation with love. Well, great. Bruce Willis destroys a helicopter with a taxi, you twat. You've been wonderful this evening. I've been Jack Whitehall. Good night. I'm mainly here tonight to talk to you about what's been going on in the world of entertainment. And quite a lot of stuff's happened. We had Bruce Forsyth on Who Do You Think You Are? Did anyone watch that? It was great. I was so excited to see him on that show. Be like, Bruce, we've traced back your family tree over 300 years. It's still you. But I don't like that show, Who Do You Think You Are? Because it's always really nice stories. All the stories that they have, it's like they've always, unearthed like an ancient relative that was like a wacky inventor, or your great-great-grandfather won a medal during the war. I just want to see some variety. Just one episode, have something a bit different. Like, bring someone on that's like some newsreader and be like, yeah, we've had a little look at your family tree. It turns out you've got a little bit of Jewish blood on your hands because your granddad was in the SS. Too nice. But Inception, that got released this week, the new Leonardo DiCaprio film, which is all about dreams. Yeah. I was really excited when I heard that it was about dreams and stuff. I was a little bit let down, though, when I went to see it. Because in it, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, he can create his own dreams, create his own fantasies. The first one that he has, do you know where he goes? He can go wherever he wants. He goes to France. Right, this is a fantasy. You can do whatever you want, mate. You can travel through the moon-dappled streets of Amsterdam in a carriage made out of chocolate and porn, led by the 5 naked members of Girls Aloud. All right, it's a fantasy. 4 naked members of Girls Aloud. Whilst you're sat in the back having a lap dance for Angelina Jolie, living it up with Maradona, having chicken and beer with Paul Gascoigne and Matthew Pinsent. Yeah, I thought this fantasy through. We're going to need a designated driver. Mental. Because that's where you go if you're having a fantasy. You go to Amsterdam, that's the city of dreams. It is. And like a dream, when you go to Amsterdam, you seldom remember any of it. I went to Amsterdam once, all I remember is waking up in some seedy little upstairs room, just slumped in the corner, pants round my ankles, cock in my hand like a staunch piece of meat. And it was just as the woman in the uniform started manhandling me that I thought, what am I doing? In the Anne Frank Museum. It was also announced this week that U2 are the richest band in the world. Last year, they netted $130 million. And Bono pockets all of that stuff, and he's still coming out and trying to get us to give our money to charity. That man is the most inappropriate face for Make Poverty history you could possibly have. It's like Cheryl Cole fronting a Give Blood campaign. It's not appropriate. These are celebrities, they don't know what they're doing. Their association with these charities is just so vacuous and stupid sometimes. Annie Lennox, she's a good example of this. I saw her at a charity concert recently. She came out wearing this T-shirt, HIV positive. It's meant to encourage a positive attitude towards HIV and AIDS. Didn't work. Didn't make me think, well, I'm going to have a far more positive attitude towards that condition now. No, it just made me think, didn't want to have sex with her anyway. But there's celebrity endorsement everywhere. There was another story this week, all right? It said that Lady Gaga had been approached by Twinings Tea to become the new face of their brand. I would have thought they could bring that out with a limited edition Lady Gaga teapot. You know it's got a spout, but it's doing a damn good job at concealing it. My problem is I just don't get celebrity endorsement because it never makes you want to actually buy any of the products that they're selling. Like the most inappropriate one that I've seen recently is this one they've got for online poker. It's an online poker website and they use professional poker players to try and get you to go and play at the website. This guy comes out, he's like, hey, I'm Dave Sexton. I'm a professional poker player. Last year I earned nearly $1 million playing in international tournaments. I play at partypoker.com. I was like, great. I'll make sure I never play there again in the rest of my life. That's like me that's not even good at swing ball taking on Roger Federer at tennis. I'll lose all of my money. I'm not an idiot. I'll play online poker when I see an advert where the website brings out some drooling moron trying to eat his own foot. Hello, my name's Ray. Last year I was arrested for wanking off dogs' tails in the park. I play at simpletons that play with their parents' money. Poker.com. Did I mention I'm blind? You guys have been wonderful. That's all I got time for this week. Thanks very much. Good night. Entertainment news, yes. What's been on the TV this week? We had Tom Cruise on Top Gear. Who watched Tom Cruise on Top Gear? Yeah. It was brilliant, wasn't it? They did this amazing thing, for those of you that didn't see it, where they showed Tom Cruise what he'd be like if he was more irritating and less talented. Yeah. Tom, this is Richard Hammond. Sorry. Tom, this is Richard Hammond. Emmerdale, they got in trouble, right, because there was a close-up camera, and on it there was a shopping list, and on the shopping list it had the words jam rags and piles cream, and they were like, oh, this is outrageous, this is a disgrace, it's setting a bad example. Oh, grow up. It's a soap. They have no moral obligation. It's not like we're in America, where the soaps genuinely feel that they have a kind of moral obligation to get across a good message. Because I watched an American soap the other day, it was Gossip Girl, this thing Gossip Girl, yeah. Obviously, I got onto it by accident. I was trying to find a manly film, you know. So. Something on Bravo. Yeah. Danny Dye's top 10 ways to punch a dog. But... So I stumbled across this Gossip Girl shit, and at the end of it, every week, Gossip Girl, who's a fashion blogger, comes up at the end with this voiceover, and it's the most vacuous moral message you've ever heard. It's always like, so, what have we learned this week? I think what we've learned is that BFF friends aren't necessarily BFF friends forever. OMG, YTF, Gossip Girl, XOX. Imagine if they tried to pull that shit on Emmerdale. You get to the end of the episode, you just got Marlon Dingle in his pants, sat in a pigsty, drinking cider out of a Wellington boot. Oh, what have I learned this week? I think I've learned that a pig will always have a curly dick, even if you put it in a wig. But my favourite story this week, definitely, is that Richard Desmond, the former pornographer, has bought Channel 5. Yeah, he's the guy that owns the Daily Star and the Daily Express. So it'll be interesting to see what programmes Channel 5 starts showing now. You know, what topless, sexy glamour girls miss most about Princess Diana. And to that end, when I heard that Richard Desmond was buying Channel 5, I decided I'm going to get a TV guide and I'm going to have a little look at what he's got to work with. And lo and behold, this Tuesday night, I found a gem. Up against EastEnders at the 7:30 time slot. EastEnders, the most popular television show on British television, the most highly rated soap in the last 10 years. Channel 5 have decided to air a repeat of a show called Michaela Strachan's Zoo Babies. I'm not making this up. Which this week includes a raccoon giving birth to its first litter, a ruffled lemur suffers complications when its labour becomes overdue. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the zoo, a skunk has a miscarriage. What? You are taking on EastEnders with animal-based midwifery. You are essentially throwing a skunk stillborn at the rich tapestry of the nation's favourite soap. What the hell are you expecting? Families that have religiously watched EastEnders for the last 10 years just sat at home on a Tuesday night in front of the television. Dave, do you mind if we turn over to EastEnders now, seeing as I haven't missed an episode in nearly 10 years? Oi, shite slag! Or watching Michaela Strachan perform a cesarean on an I reckon the only way anyone would ever want to watch Channel 5, the only reason to watch it, is for one thing and one thing alone, and that's those police camera shows. Oh, yeah. Because Channel 5 show the American versions of police camera action. All the other channels, they got the British ones, which are rubbish, because the American ones work because the voiceover guy is not only massively biased, but really aggressive with it. On the UK ones, we've got like Alistair Stewart, who's the poshest, nicest, most charming man in the world. And he voices over the footage, he's like, oh, look at this gentleman. He's driving at nearly 2 miles per hour over the speed limit in his automobile. Let's hope in the future and he's less of a silly Billy. Cut to the American guy. Look at this jackass! He just robbed the liquor store and now he's bombing down the highway the wrong way. When the feds catch up with him, he's gonna get 10 in the pen, and when he's in that prison, I hope he gets bummed the wrong way. Alistair Stewart. Oh dear, I hope this man in the future learns to drive with a little bit more caution and tact for his fellow road users. I hope this guy dies of cancer of the ass. I hope this guy one day gets an MBE. I hope this guy gets Emmy so he falls asleep at the wheel, crashes his car into a dam, which then floods Mexico. Alistair Stewart signs off jauntily with, well, look after yourselves, drivers, and each other. Meanwhile, the American guy already cocking his gun. He's got his cowboy boot to the neck of some 14-year-old joyrider that he's now making suck off his shotgun before blowing his head off, kicking it into the freeway, and signing off with, don't fuck with America, America! That's all we got time for this week. You guys have been lovely. Thanks very much. Good night. So I'm here tonight to talk to you about the world of celebrity, and quite a lot of stuff's gone down. The main story being Charlie Sheen is winning. Yeah. For any of you that thought he was losing, you're wrong. He is winning. For any of you that thought he was bipolar, you are wrong. He is by winning. If by winning you mean mental. Oh, yeah. He's great, isn't he? Because like every week, he just comes out with something even more incredible. Like the one this week, I'm running on tiger blood. Well, if he's running on tiger's blood, it's no wonder he tries to fuck everything that moves. He's trying to sort himself out, though, isn't he? He's checking into rehab. It said he's going into rehab for alcohol abuse. I saw that, and I was like, wow, can you imagine being in Charlie Sheen's AA meeting? Everyone just getting ushered onto the moral high ground. Men that have spent the last 10 years drinking petrol and sleeping in skips, thinking, well, it got bad, but never that bad. Imagine trying to follow him in one of those meetings. Charlie Sheen's doing one of his stories. Yeah, this one time I'd done all these drugs right. I got a hooker dangling from the ceiling in a harness. I'm batting around the room like she's a human fucking swing ball. And it was at that point that I thought, shit, I think I might have left her friend in the cupboard. Right, who's next?
Hello, my name's Richard. I lost my job, and ever since, if I open a bottle of wine, I'll often finish it.
The other person I feel really sorry for as well is Lindsay Lohan, all right? She thought she had Hollywood fuckhead tied up as a role, and Charlie Sheen has come along and smashed her out of the park. No one would give a shit about her anymore. How's she going to get attention now that Charlie Sheen's done what he's done? Lindsay Lohan could literally run through the streets of Beverly Hills completely naked, with more needles hanging out of her than a porcupine, slapping herself in the face with a wet fish, screaming, look at me, look at me! And people would just be like, oh, look, it's good to see Lindsay Lohan's on the mend. The other person that's got in trouble this week is, of course, Prince Andrew, because of his alleged links to a convicted sex offender. The press say Andrew is refusing to talk to them. I thought, well, he's a member of the royal family. If he won't speak, you should try and adopt some of those tactics they used on the King's speech. Could I have a comment about your friend, please, Andrew? No, I can't. Try shouting out of a window. He's a paedophile! That will do. I love the way they refer to him in all the papers, Andrew's friends. It's always as the paedophile billionaire. I saw that and I thought it reminded me of that Channel 4 show, The Secret Millionaire. Admittedly slightly different. This billionaire has been staying in a community in Barnsley for the past week. But there's something he's been keeping from them. Lives are going to be changed forever. Especially little Jimmy, who's never going to be able to sleep without his light on ever again. Finally, in television news this week, there is one show that has caught my eye more than anything else on the schedules. And that is ITV2's attempt to perform the first ever visual enema upon the nation in the form of Peaches Geldof's new show, OMG. The aptly titled, Oh My God, because it is a show that makes you question the existence of one. It's basically like a chat show, right? Where Peaches Geldof talks about problems. It's a little bit like Question Time if the question was, I wonder what would happen if culture got cancer. She's unbelievable. Admittedly, my opinions of Peaches Geldof are slightly biased because about a year and a half ago, I had a professional encounter with Peaches Geldof. This is all true. She was casting for a similar show to OMG and she required a co-host. My agent demanded that I go up to North London to meet Peaches Geldof so Peaches Geldof could decide whether me and her had enough, quote, chemistry to be able to host a show together. It was the professional equivalent of being asked to donate bone marrow to Robert Mugabe. So I was carted off to this gastro pub in Camden where I had to sit in front of Peaches Geldof and her entourage. She has an entourage, I don't know why, presumably so there's someone there to punch her in the side of the head in case she says something interesting. And I'm sat in front of her, feeling like a contestant on the game show who wants to be a massive twat. Having to answer these stupid questions that she's firing at me. So, what kind of music vibe are you into at the moment? Who's your favourite band? Oh, I don't know, the one your dad's in, is that what you want to hear? This ordeal lasted like 15 minutes before Peaches carted me out. And as I left the room, feeling dejected and depressed and wanting to go home and look up to see whether you can regrow a soul... Waiting on this platform for my train on my own, my agent called me up. No less than like 20 minutes after I'd had the interview. She said, Jack, are you sitting down? I was like, yes. She said, I've had a word with Peaches' representatives, and they have decided that you and Peaches Geldof do not have chemistry. I shit you not, it was like receiving the all clear. I was running down that platform, high-fiving strangers. Yes! I am Peaches Geldof chemistry negative. You guys have been wonderful. That has been my celebrity roundup. Thank you very much. Good night. Hello. The big story this week is the Midsummer Murders race row. Oh, yeah. The creator of Midsummer Murders has been suspended for his comments claiming that his all-whites casting policy was essential to the success of his show. Wow. The way he's talking about it, anyone would have thought ITV are trying to force him to rewrite it like the fucking Wire. It's like, all they want is like one black character, a Chinese guy in the back of shot. That's all they need. It's not like they're trying to force him to recast DCI Barnaby with Eddie Murphy. Quickly, you have to come. The bastard's thrown himself from the top of the bell tower. Get the fuck out of here. Do you know what I feel sorry for? I feel sorry for the first black guy that ends up living in the village of Midsummer. That's going to be a nightmare, isn't it? Every time there's a murder, being the first person called into question. Do you know why you're here? Is it because I'm black? Yes! Where were you when the murder was committed? In a cell, not being charged for last episode's one. What I find weird as well is that this is their tipping point as well. You would have thought if you lived in the village of Midsummer, you'd be pretty laid back. You've been through quite a lot of shit. There's been a lot of murders there, but it's the black person that you can't handle. It's like they're saying, yes, well, I can handle someone dying every week, but a Nigerian vicar? What's that going to do to house prices? Bring out the Wicker Man. We'll burn the village's homosexual whilst we're at it. But he's your son, Douglas. He was, Nancy. Also, if the black guy had committed the crime, it would be impossible to find him because there would be no witnesses because people that are that posh find it impossible to describe black people. No, it's true. Like my mum, all right? She's quite posh, sort of middle-aged white woman. She finds it impossible to describe any of my black friends. It's ridiculous. She will describe literally everything else about them before she describes their race. She's like, yeah, that friend of
of yours, you know the friend of yours, the tall one, the very tall one. He's very tall. You know the one with he's got feet. He's got 2 feet. You know, the one that's got 2 feet is very tall, very dark hair. The dark-haired one, the tall one with the feet and the dark hair. You know the one that I'm talking about, Mum. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific. Come on, Mum, spit it out. He's a black man. Anthony, Mum. Yes, Anthony. Where's he living now? Unlike you, Mum, in the 21st century. A lot of shows have ended this week as well. A lot of season finales. Skins has ended this week. I watched Skins. This has been a sort of hit and miss series for me. They've had a lot of problems, the creators of Skins, as well, because they've tried to sell it to America, and in America, they didn't like it. Yeah, there was a lot of controversy. People in America said Skins was unrealistic because all of the children were having sex and getting drunk. Oh, boo-hoo, America. I'm sorry, our stupid English writers coming up with ridiculously far-fetched scenarios where teenagers get drunk and have sex with each other rather than shooting their classmates whilst being fucking fat. This week also saw the end of one of my favourite shows, Take Me Out. Has anyone watched Take Me Out? Oh. I love that show! Take Me Out is brilliant. A lot of people say, oh, Take Me Out is a cruel show. It's inhumane. I don't think it's cruel. I happen to know for a fact it's very humane, Take Me Out. At the end of the series, those 20 girls are all released back out into the wild. It's not... I love watching Take Me Out, though, because I love watching it for that. There's always that one girl, isn't there, that the light is never going out. She is determined to get a date. Like Karen from Gateshead. She's normally got a boss irons a little bit slow. How many weeks have you been on the show, Karen? 3 years. Anything could come down that lift. That lift could produce a man with no arms or legs or even a fucking head. That light's not going out unless the bulb blows. His special skill's gonorrhea. I still like it, I still like it. The only way you're getting her out of that studio is if you were to literally take her out. It's also the final episode this week of Heston Blumenthal's Mission Impossible. Yeah, he's been performing impossible missions. He's created a hot dog for a cinema chain, shepherd's pie for British Airways, and a ready meal for the British Navy. Right, not really Mission Impossible, is it? That show should be called Mission Entirely Feasible. And culinary Mission Impossible would be trying to get Victoria Beckham into a Greggs. Or Eamon Holmes out of one. That's the Mission Impossible. The stuff you're doing is not impossible. I've been to his restaurant. I went for my birthday. I got really excited. It's ridiculous. It's complete bullshit. He's one of those annoying chefs who refuses to serve anything on a plate and then just dresses it up with stupid fancy language. Like he brings you something like, this is sounds of the ocean. It's fucking sushi on a brick. No, you have to put in an iPod and listen to the sound of waves. I tried to keep the iPod so I could drown out the bullshit that the waiter was spouting me about every other fucking course. Our next dish here is called Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Within your mug is a sachet of dreams, onto which you pour boiling water, which will create a bubbling broth to evoke the memories of childhood. It's a fucking cup of soup! That has been the end of my celebrity news. Thank you very much for listening to me. Good night.
I'm Jack Whitehall. I'm here to talk about the week's entertainment news.
ITV2's The Only Way is Essex started this week. We've got some fans of the show in. Some people love The Only Way is Essex, some people hate it, some people get really annoyed by it. And they always get annoyed for the same reason. They're like, it's fake, it's all scripted, it's all storylines and scripts. Like, scripts? Have you seen the cast? Half of them look like they can't fucking read. And storylines? That show makes Hollyoaks look like fucking Downton Abbey. Storyline. The only storyline is, right, there's this main guy, Mark Wright, and then there's 7 girls, and Mark Wright fucks all of them. And people are like, no, you see, it's the UK's answer to that American show, The Hills. Yeah, if the question The Hills was asking was, I wonder what our show would be like if Mark Wright fucked all of us. The one thing it has, though, The Only Way is Essex, though, it's done, is it has brought vajazzling to the mainstream. Have we got any girls in tonight rocking the vajazzle? That was a guy at the back. That's not a vajazzle, that's a punazzle, sir. But I appreciate your style. Packing a little bit of glitter on the twins, I like that shit. Not that it works. A man with a vajazzle is a weird... Putting, like, little bits of jewellery on your scrotum does not work. Just turn it upside down, it looks like Gordon Ramsay in a tiara. It's not good. kicking off, though. This whole vajazzling thing of putting the jewellery there. It's really weird. I don't get it. This girl I was seeing the other day, she was like, do you want me to get one of them vajazzles, Jack? It'll be really sexy. I was like, it definitely won't. No guy has ever gone down there and thought, oh, this could do with redecorating. Maybe a Glade plug-in, but that's about it. The show I've been watching this week, and it's a show that I love. I don't know if we've got any fans in, right? Brian Cox, The Wonders of the Universe. Oh, I love that show, because I love that man. The most handsome man on television. Oh, he's amazing. And even on the show, right, he talks about some quite bleak shit. It's all quite apocalyptic, but you don't care because of his beautiful face and his dulcet northern tones. He lures you in. You're watching it, he's like, our planet is merely a blink within a massive universe. Our entire lives just a pointless ambling towards inevitable death within a solar system that will one day implode upon itself in a massive supernova, rendering the entirety of mankind completely and utterly futile. Oh, hasn't he got lovely eyes? His face is amazing, look at it. I don't know much about physics, but I did not know that a face could actually have a gravitational pull. It's so soft. It even smells nice, and that's a fucking photograph. It's a testament, right, to how handsome and lovely Brian Cox is, right? Yeah? That he's a professor of physics, he's a teacher at university, and his name is Cox, and he's still this popular. Any other teacher whose name was Cox, you know what children would like? He'd have the shit ripped out of him. But he's so handsome and charming and warm, he could get away with being called Professor Rusty Bellend and no one would care. He's great. He was in a band as well. He was in a band. That's people like that. Brian Cox was in D-Ream. Do you remember them? Sung Things Can Only Get Better. How cool is that? I'm a bit worried though, right? He was in this band D-Ream in the early 90s and he has completely reinvented physics on the BBC. I'm worried that that's now going to become a policy across the board. Every single part of their educational output, they're going to have to get someone to present it that was in a shit 90s band. Coming up next on BBC4, The Nazis, A Warning from History, narrated by Jim, the brother out the cause. Following this, Panorama has a special on hit-and-run incidents in the UK. Chumbawamba present I Get Knocked Down. One of the other big stories that's happened this week as well, Rebecca Black. Has anyone seen this? Rebecca Black, teenage girl, has released a pop song on the internet called Friday, which is going to become one of the most viewed videos ever on the internet. And people hate it. They hate it because they say, oh, it's really boring. It's just some 13-year-old girl banging on about Fridays. It's really, really boring. Well, I've got an idea. You want to spice that shit up? Let's introduce her to Craig David and re-record it, because we all know what he gets up to on a Friday. That'll make it more interesting as you see her harrowing face as she realises she's got 2 more days of that shit until chill time on a Sunday. She's one of those girls, though. She's one of those girls as well, I think, right, that falls into the same category as Miley Cyrus and that British tennis player Laura Robson. In that when I first saw her in the newspapers, I was like, whoa, God, she is 13! Bad thoughts. People criticise her, though. They're saying, oh, her song's really shit. Do you know what? I'm here to defend Rebecca Black. I don't think people fucking understand her, all right? They're saying, oh, yeah, her song's all shit. It's not. People do not get into the Rebecca Black way of thinking. She is a maverick, right? You can screw Wordsworth. You can screw T.S. Eliot, Dylan Thomas. They're out the window. Rebecca Black is a 21st century poet. Oh, yeah. I give to you verse 1, chapter 15. That's right. I'm going to quote her shit. She says, I got to go downstairs. Got to get my bowl. Got to have my cereal. That's not even fucking close to rhyming. But does she care? Does she fuck? She is sticking 2 fingers up to the very constructs of poetry. Iambic pentameter, the laws of verse do not apply to Rebecca Black. She doesn't care. It's a Friday. She's just here to have fun. I wouldn't be surprised if that bowl of cereal was being eaten for lunch or dinner, because that's the way this maverick rolls. She treats poetry like she treats the school bus. She'll shit on the front seat. She'll kick on the back seat. She'll go wherever the hell she wants on that bus, because she's Rebecca Black and she doesn't play by the fucking rules. Guys, that has been my roundup of the week's entertainment. You've been a lovely audience. Have a fantastic night. Thanks so much.
Hey. Hello, good evening. So I'm here to talk about the week's entertainment news. A lot of stuff's happened, especially on television. A lot of shows have started this week. One of my favourite shows, Channel 4's Super Size versus Super Skinny.
I saw that in the Radio Times and I thought, a little bit unfair. Super Size is going to kick the shit out of Super Skinny. But that's not what happens. They don't do that. They swap diets. That's the show. It's a really fat person swaps diets with a really, really thin person. It's like, that's not helping anyone. Both the diets were very bad in the first place. Just swapping them is solving nothing. You might as well have a show called Diabetic versus Chocoholic. This week on Diabetic versus Chocoholic, David tries insulin, whereas Colin is forced to eat a Twix and dies. And they use these mental things as well that you only ever see on television to help people lose weight. These ludicrous gimmicks. The worst is the skip. You know when they do that, they get a really fat person, you're like Barry, who's 40 stone, and then they get all their food into a skip and bring him out to try and humiliate him into being thin. Ooh, look at that, Barry, look at all that food. Do you know what that is, Barry? That's what you eat in a week, you big fat pig. Look at all the food in the skip. How does that make you feel, Barry? Well, hungry, obviously. Other new shows this week, the Katie Price one, what Katie did next. I just don't see her appeal. I don't see the appeal of Katie. Because people, oh, you know, she's sexy, yeah, because she's not just a set of tits, she's also a very successful businesswoman. So's Deborah Meaden from Dragon's Den. I wouldn't have sex with her if she was the last man on Earth. I wouldn't... Because I watched that Katie Price show, I watched a tiny bit. It is excruciating. In the episode I saw, right, she was going to the dentist, and she goes to the dentist, and as she goes into the clinic, she turns around to the camera, she's like, sorry guys, you can't come in here, this bit's private. Like, Katie, if you go onto the internet, you can see inside your vagina. There's no privacy left, love. And it's not like we've asked to come to the dentist, you fucking brought us here! No one likes going to the dentist, this was your choice! And do you know what she was having done in the dentist as well? Katie Price, she was having her wisdom teeth taken out. I was like, really? I would expect her wisdom teeth were taken out a while back. Along with her dignity teeth, her self-respect teeth, and her knowing when it's time to fuck off teeth. Unbelievable. I've got some other news, right? Justin Bieber has announced this week that he is going to be doing a concert for the people of Japan. I read that and I thought, haven't they suffered enough? No. They've been through a lot of shit, and the last thing they need is him. I'm not begrudging Justin Bieber, you know, he's a young guy, he has achieved a lot, and I don't wish anything bad against Justin Bieber, but I do also hope that puberty hits him like a fucking freight train. I hope he gets torn apart by puberty like a pack of hyenas, leaving him looking like Claire Balding in a hoodie. This was an amazing story that happened this week. This was in the Daily Telegraph, right? The Daily Telegraph had a story this week saying that the presenters that the BBC were putting forward to present the royal wedding did not have enough gravitas and were far too young to present the royal wedding. They said they did not have the maturity required to do it. And then they listed the BBC presenters. And the first one they listed was Hugh Edwards, who is 50 years old. He's been presenting on the BBC since 1986, but the Telegraph deemed him too immature for the royal wedding. What the fuck were they expecting? We can go live now to the Abbey, where we're joined by Hugh Edwards. Any highlights so far, Hugh? Yes, I just gave Sir Trevor McDonald a Chinese burn and he cried like a bitch. Although, admittedly, how much better would the news be if Hugh Edwards was as immature as the Telegraph are painting him to be? Next on the BBC, the news at 10 with Hugh Edwards. I'm Hugh Edwards. The headlines tonight. Colonel Gaddafi is a massive bender. A murderer has been sentenced to 25 years in prison where he's gonna get proper bummed. And finally, sources confirm my mate Morgan has found some of his dad's pornos, so we'll be watching them later. Get in. Now it's time for the weather with Rachel. In case you were asking, yes, I have tapped that. Third base, double digits. Rachel. Guys, that's been the end of my celebrity roundup for the week. You guys have been absolutely wonderful. Have a fantastic evening. Good night.
So I'm here tonight to talk about what's been going on in the world of celebrity. Quite a lot of stuff's happened. Jeremy Clarkson has been busted playing away from home. Oh, yeah. Bad man. Beginning of the week, all the papers were saying the person he'd been having a fling with was trying to keep their identity a secret. I was like, wow, he's been fucking the Stig. Some say she must have very low self-esteem. Turns out, though, the person that he was seeing, right, the information in the papers was someone with lovely long hair, jewellery, high-heeled shoes, and sucks Jeremy Clarkson's cock. I don't know. Can you imagine that, though? Imagine sleeping with Jeremy Clarkson. Just for a moment, try to imagine sleeping with Jeremy Clarkson. Imagine what that would be like in the morning. I imagine if you did wake up next to Jeremy Clarkson, you'd be desperate to get hold of Richard Hammond. Looking around the bed, trying to find Clarkson's phone. Hello, is that Richard? Yeah, I was just wondering, at what speed do you have to crash to get memory loss? One thing I'm going to be looking forward to is the next episode of Top Gear. That is going to be amazing. This week on Top Gear, the star in a reasonably priced car is me, and I'm sleeping in it. Look at this bad boy. It's got a lot of space in the boot. The rough dimensions are 3 bin liners full of my clothes, 2 denim, 1 cord. And look at the chassis on this bad boy. It's like the Batmobile, which is ironic as I'm currently dressed as Batman, off to make a futile attempt at having my voice heard from the roof of Buckingham Palace. Also this week on television, right, saw the final of University Challenge. Oh, yeah. I love a bit of University Challenge. I never understand any of it, but I watch it because if you ever get a question right on University Challenge, that is the best feeling in the world. You jump up, high-fiving everyone in the room, little lap of honour around the sitting room. So what if I've been shouting out the same answer to every question for the last 4 years? Picasso was bound to come up one day, and this was that day. In 1999, Citroën released which range of car? Picasso. Yes, I'm a genius. I hate when I'm watching it as well, because I watch it with my dad. My dad always does this thing. He's like, oh, that was quite a difficult question. I'm amazed he got that right. I was like, amazed? It's not that difficult. I mean, it's a difficult question, but not for them. They're very intelligent people. What they should do, right, on University Challenge is every now and then just throw them a curveball and make it a lot better if just once in a while Jeremy Paxman gave them one question that he just found in, like, the Heat crossword. You'll start of a 10, complete the quote. No likey, no... Oh, one of my favourite stories this week is this. It's a bizarre story, right? Miley Cyrus has decided to try and sue a company because they have released a Miley Cyrus sex doll against her will. This is genuine, right? What makes it even more amazing is that there was a quote in the papers saying Disney have released a statement claiming this is not an official Disney product. No shit! As well, that's trying to buy that one. Oh, it's not official. Well, I'm not an idiot. I'm going to wait till they bring out the official one. Like, they've got a line of Disney sex dolls. Yeah, we got loads. We got Miley Cyrus, Cinderella, Snow White, my personal favourite, Bambi's mum. It's ridiculous. And what I love as well is the idea, right, that there is probably somewhere some dad that has bought a Miley Cyrus doll for his children, thinking that it's a normal one. That's an awkward Christmas morning. Girls, look what I've got you. Oh, shit. She looks surprised. Daddy, why is her mouth like that? Because she's singing. Why is her bottom singing as well? Daddy doesn't know. That would be disturbing as a child, walking in on your dad having sex with a blow-up Miley Cyrus. Obviously, we can't relate because she's not an icon of our generation, but it would be weird, right? Be like us walking in on our dads going down on a blow-up Andy Peters. Odd. Visualise it. Finally this week, an amazing story. Blue. There's been a lot of stories about Blue this week. Blue, of course, representing us at the Eurovision Song Contest. They started off the month by posing for Attitude magazine, the sort of gay lads magazine. I don't know whether anyone saw the cover. It was amazing. Just made me feel really sorry for Anthony Costa. Because on the front of this magazine, right, yeah, it's all 4 members of Blue, right? Simon Webb, Lee Ryan, and Duncan James, all completely naked, their dicks just flaying there, muscles on show. Then in the corner, in a shirt, Anthony Costa, huddled down like a fat boy at school playing dodgeball in PE. We're all equal, right. Yeah, Anthony, sure we are. He might as well have been hidden underneath Simon Webb's dick like an ant under a stone. But what I love, right, is Blue, right, who are representing us in Eurovision Song Contest, have already started making all these excuses about why they're not going to win. And the main one is always, oh, well, it's because it's political. It's because it's political. And they always say this, and I'm like, why should it be political? Because there's always other countries in Europe that don't agree with, like, our foreign policy, so don't give us any points. Well, do you know what? Two can play at that game. I think we need to start getting a little bit tougher with the rest of Europe when it comes to the points giving out at Eurovision. Ooh, Belarus have decided to only give 2 points to England because they don't agree with the war in Iraq. Oh, do you know what, Belarus? If you're sending us over 2 points, we're going to be sending you 2 of them Tomahawk missiles. You see that shit we've been pulling in Libya? Well, you're next, Belarus, just as soon as we found out where the fuck you are. My celebrity news. You guys have been wonderful. I'll see you guys. Good evening, Coco. Yeah. So, talking about TV, Saturday nights are saved. Don't worry anymore. We have got another series of Britain's Got a lot of mental people that want to get on telly. Oh, yeah. What I love about it is it's given rise to loads of regional versions of the show. And as a stand-up, when you're gigging around the country, you often see posters for them on, like, village halls and pubs and stuff. The best one I ever saw, right, was in Yeovil, where I saw a poster for Yeovil's Got Talent, where the past year's winner had been a set of twins, right? I went into the pub, I asked the landlady, what was their talent? She said, they were spit an image of each other, but not the same person. What did they win? We That's what I want to see on ITV. Screw Britain's Got Talent. I want to see Yeovil's Got Talent on ITV1. Filming the queue of that, just full of freaks. So, what's your talent, sir? I eat spoons! And you, madam? I've got a mole that looks just like Ross Kemp. The people I always feel really sorry for, though, on Britain's Got Talent is them dogs, those dancing dogs. Don't you feel sorry for them? Because they don't want to be up there, do they? You see some poor mangy Labrador being hauled out by its remedial 40-year-old owner, dressed as a cowboy. Hello, Mom! And you can see in the dog's eyes, you know exactly what it's thinking. It's thinking, oh, I had aspirations of being a guide dog. Look at me now. I could have played Lassie, and I'm resorting to this, humiliating myself on national television. Well, it could be worse. I could be at home having to lick peanut butter off this imbecile's balls. Yeah. Also this week in the news, we saw Tara Palmer-Tomkinson. She was photographed with her nose like that. Yes, look at her. She looks like she's just smelt Susan Boyle's bed linen. In fact, her nose is so fucked now. This week, Mohammed Al-Fayed said he's considering building a statue of her to put outside Fulham. Yeah. Also been watching The Only Wears Essex. Yeah. Lot of The Only Wears Essex stuff. Every day it's in the newspapers now where they say, oh, it's all fake and staged and stuff. All right, like, we get it, all right, it's staged. But that's why I watch it. I love the shit acting. I think it's brilliant. Every week on The Only Wears Essex, there'll be a couple, right, that go for a date in Juice's Bar Lounge, which seems to be the only bar in the entirety of fucking Essex. And whilst they're there, lo and behold, one of their exes will walk in and they have to act surprised. Like, oh, shut up! That's so surprising you have walked into this bar. No, it's not. You go there every week. If you wanted to go on a secret date to ensure there is absolutely no chance you'd bump into anyone that you know, you'd have it somewhere like the library. The best person on The Only Wears Essex, though, is this guy, Mark Wright. He's unbelievable. He's got all these girlfriends, and he's double-timing them all the time. And every week, one of them will confront him, and he'll always get out of it by just confusing the shit out of them. He's trying to define his relationship status. They don't know what the hell he is talking about. At one point, I was listening to him on the last episode. I thought I was going out with him. He's like a bullshit ninja. It's amazing. The girl will storm in, she'll be like, Mark, what I want to know, right, is where me and you stand. Where do we stand, Mark?
Be like, look, babe, right? I am seeing you at the moment, but in this stage of my life, I can't be exclusively seeing you. I have to be able to see other people as well in a non-official guise, because we're going out, but we're not, like, actually going out, in that our relationship is in a sort of it's complicated state of mind. In quantum physical terms, given infinity, eventually there will be paths where we intersected in our lives. But what you got to understand, babe, is that in this stage of my life, I'm like a bird. I want to fly away, but I don't know where my home is. I don't know where my home is, but I do know where my home is. It's Essex, and technically you're the bird that I love. But what's love got to do with it? Love's nothing but a second-hand emotion. And at this stage in my life, I don't want second-hand emotions, because Juicy's bar lounge is taking off in a big rain at the moment, eh? And basically, I got this panazzle the other day, and it could have been with you on it, but it wasn't. It was with another girl that I'm having a non-sexual sexual relationship in, that I'm not having sex with you whilst I'm having sex with other people at the same time as I'm having sex with you. Because I'm not Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the Lord, father to a murder, son and husband to a murder not. And I will have my mention in this time or the next, and whether it's with you or another girl. Wait, sorry, babe. Babe, I've got to get this. Is Arge. Guys, that's been my time. You've been absolutely wonderful. I'll see you again soon, you know. I'm here to talk to you tonight about what's been going on in the world of celebrity and entertainment. A lot of stuff's been happening. It's been the week, right, of the super injunction. Yeah. Sounds like a comic book hero, doesn't it? Admittedly, the worst comic book hero ever. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a legal loophole that silences women to protect the privacy of cunts. She's been all over the news, this Big Brother woman, hasn't she? Imogen Thomas. Every newspaper, it's like Imogen has been having an affair with a man who cannot be named. What, Voldemort? Yeah, that's why no one said Voldemort's name in Harry Potter. It wasn't because they were scared of him, they were scared of his lawyer. Voldemort was super injuncting the shit out of people. He was banging Quidditch players left, right and fucking centre. He had a threesome with the Weasley twins. In fact, even Hermione did a kiss and tell on him in the Daily Prophet, saying he who must not be named, he stuck his wand in my Hufflepuff. Shh. She must love it, though. This Imogen Thomas woman, yeah? Like, she's saying, oh, it's really annoying to have all this press attention, right? You're a girl that's been on Big Brother and fucks footballers. If you're that kind of person, you've hardly fled from publicity, have you? She's in the newspaper all the time, but that's exactly what she must want. And the only reason we're talking about it is because of the super injunction in the first place. If it was just a glamour model having sex with a footballer, no one would care. It's because we can't name the footballer that she's having sex with that we're talking about it. The super injunction, if anything, has risen her from the level of being a Big Brother has-been nobody that I sort of remember masturbating over about 5 years ago, to a woman that is now firmly cemented herself as a skid mark on the toilet bowl of society that is becoming increasingly hard to piss away. Of course, the story that's mainly been dominating the press, though, this week is the royal wedding. Are we excited about the royal wedding yet? Yeah. We're being told that we should get excited about the royal wedding, though, all the time. Even David Cameron, he started saying, oh, we should all go out and we should have street parties and have fun. And it's like, oh, Mr. Cameron, I can see through this little ploy. I know what you're doing. You're trying to get us all excited about the royal wedding, having all of our street parties, and then in the week of the royal wedding, you are going to fuck us in the arse. You're going to bring through every bit of bad news that you've been storing up for months whilst we're distracted by the royal wedding. Yes, go out, enjoy yourselves. Everyone have a big street party. It'll be fun. Have it locally. Don't drive, because the price of petrol's gone up to £17 a litre. It'll be fun. Your children can have the weekend off school. Don't go back on Monday morning, because I'm bulldozing the school to the ground. Everyone's celebrating, especially the Welsh, because I'm selling you to China. We've got that Kate Middleton. There's a story about her every day now, isn't there? The one I saw recently, right? It's about Kate Middleton's title. What's she going to be called when she marries William? Because she's not going to be the Princess of Wales. It said in the papers, right, that the Queen gets to choose her title. The Queen can choose any title that she wants. I thought, as if that girl needed any more pressure to impress the Queen. She's now got that shit to contend with as well. If she doesn't make a good first impression, she is fucked. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Catherine, the Assistant Regional Manager of Wales. I heard that, though, as well. The Queen can give whatever title out she wants. I just thought that must have been an awkward situation and conversation she had to have with her own husband. What do you want to be called, Philip? The Führer. No. This whole commoner thing is ridiculous. Kate Middleton, the first commoner to marry into the royal family, right? Kate Middleton went to a public school called Marlborough College. The reason I know this is because I went to a public school called Marlborough College. Now, as you can probably tell from my general demeanour and voice, it wasn't a particularly common school. They were write about it like Kate Middleton is from the ghetto, all right? I'll let you into a little secret. My school made Midsummer Murders look like The fucking Wire, all right? I wasn't at the school at the same time as Kate Middleton. I missed out on her by 1 year, and I really, really regret the fact that I wasn't there at the school at the same time, because I knew people at the school that had been out with Kate Middleton, and I used to envy them. Because you can imagine how cool that would be if when you were at school, you got with the Queen. I would never shut up about that shit for the rest of my life. I would be a nightmare to be around. Every time one of my friends opened his wallet to buy a drink, I'd just be like, yeah, I've tapped that. You could also shut anyone up at a party. Do you know what I mean? If you're like at a drinks party, and there's one of those dickheads that wants to just teabag the room with his ego, you could shut him up like that. Yeah, I work in the city, I earn a lot of money, I just bought myself a Lamborghini, and to celebrate, got my secretary in the front seat, poured some cocaine on my Johnson, and had to gum it off all the way back to my house in Sandbanks. What about you, Buster? Well, I live at home with my mum, I don't have a job or a car, but I once got with the Queen. These two bad boys are 15th in line to the throne, so fuck off. That's nearly all I've got time for this week. But before I go, I just want to say, you know, I don't want to look like I'm being down on the royal wedding. If there is anyone that's excited about it, you carry on being excited. The point I was merely trying to make, all right, is that I think it's just the media have got a little bit carried away with the whole coverage of it. And it is getting silly. I mean, I did genuinely see an article this week that said Kate and William's wedding was going to be just like Charles and Diana's fairy tale wedding in 1981. And I thought, which fairy tale is that? I don't recall reading a fairy tale where Cinderella has the brake wires cut on her pumpkin carriage and Prince Charming marries one of the horses.
Good evening. So I'm here to talk to you about what's been going on in the world of celebrity and entertainment this week. A lot of stuff's happened. Reports suggest that Emma Watson, Hermione, has been getting bullied at university. Yeah, I know. The fit one that we all wanted to have sex with, she's getting bullied. Imagine what they do to the ginger one. Whoa. They shout out stuff. That's what they do, apparently, in lectures and stuff. When she gets a question right, they shout out, oh, 3 points to Hufflepuff, which, no, it's not even funny, because she's in Gryffindor. But I love the fact that she's at university. I think it's great that Hermione is at university, because it makes you think, even at Hogwarts, they had to do UCAS. Mr. Potter, we've had a look at your personal statement. It's very impressive. You found the Philosopher's Stone, won the Tri-Wizard Quidditch Cup, and defeated the Dark Lord Voldemort. But unfortunately, you failed to complete your Duke of Edinburgh Bronze Award. And for that reason, you will not be getting offered a place from Loughborough. In other news, Andrew Marr, the super injunction on his affair has been lifted. There's so many super injunctions around now. It must ruin having sex. If you're having sex and there's no romance, there's no excitement or sexiness to it anymore. Hey, you got any protection? Yeah, there's a lawyer under my bed right now. This doesn't work. And also, Andrew Marr having a super injunction, that's a super injunction I'd quite like to stay put. I don't want to know that he's shagging around. He's Andrew Marr. He's a respected political journalist. He does the Andrew Marr Show. My dad watches that shit. I don't want to find out he's shagging around. That's like finding out Sir Trevor McDonald's into dogging. No. I don't want that. What makes it even worse with Andrew Marr as well is that he was doing his shagging around. He lives in East Sheen, right? My parents live in East Sheen. Yeah, you live in East Sheen. My mum and dad live in East Sheen. Andrew Marr gets his hair cut in the same hairdressers as my mum. I've seen him in our gastropub. My dad does quite a lot of work abroad, and Andrew Marr's shagging around East Sheen. You may think I'm being silly and putting two to two together, but you haven't seen pictures of me before the procedure, all right? I have reason. Oh, not good. Also this week on television sees the start of one of my favourite shows, The Secret Millionaire. Got a new series of that.
say Secret Millionaire, it's definitely not anymore, right? Okay? Where they send a millionaire to like an impoverished area and then they're like, oh, at the end of the week, oh, he's a millionaire. We didn't know anything. Well, you definitely did, all right? That shit has been going for 4 series now. If you live in shithole upon shit and all of a sudden a really posh guy turns up with a fuck-off camera crew filming him for a Channel 4 documentary, the likelihood is the guy is either pregnant, got a dick made of bark, or fucking rich. What is up, all right? Not secret. And what are these millionaires doing as well? The secret millionaires going around. This guy going to Middlesbrough and writing out checks for people and opening youth centres and shit. That's not what I want from a secret millionaire. Secret millionaires used to do cool shit. Like Bruce Wayne, Batman. That was a fucking secret millionaire. Fighting crime with his secret millions. Not going to Middlesbrough. Imagine if Batman pulled that shit. Quickly, the Joker's holding up a bank. Where's Batman? Oh, shit, I've got some bad news. Unfortunately, he's in Gotham upon Tyne, giving £5,000 to a methadone addict that swapped her baby for cider. Sad news as well. Katie Price has been involved in a car accident. No. She's involved in a car accident and she has tragically survived. Katie Price was in a car crash, right? And it turned out she had driven into a horse. That's how the car crash happened. And I saw that detail and I thought, that horse probably threw himself in front of the car, having just seen Katie Price's essential equestrian range, and thought, I don't want to live anymore. I'm going to take one for the team. Look at that horse there. Look at the horror in its eyes. Thinking, why does this woman even need an equestrian range? She's the only woman in the world that has a vagina that means she can ride a horse bareback yet still feel like she's wearing a saddle. Finally this week, Anne Robinson has announced that she is retiring as the host of The Weakest Link. She's very upset, but her surgeon's going to put a brave face on her. And look at that woman. She's had so much work done on her face. Those aren't glasses, they're scaffolding. I used to love The Weakest Thing. It was great, because The Weakest Thing was the first ever quiz show where they found the contestants that were just proper window lickers, weren't they? And like 10 people that looked like they were auditioning for a show called The Only Way is Incest. They were thick. Statistically, Billy is the weakest link. Statistically, look at the head on it. When you asked Billy what he did for a living, he put a finger up his arse, sniffed it, and shouted, "Fuck all!" He's not the weakest link, he's the missing link. No one watched it anymore. That was the problem with The Weakest Link. It had dwindling viewing figures, and they said there was nothing they could do. I think wrong. There is something they could have done, and it's a very simple remedy. Remember when Nick Griffin was on Question Time, right? More people watched that episode of Question Time than have ever bothered to watch that show in the entire history of it as a programme. Made me think. Weakest Link, dwindling viewing figures, play the Nick Griffin card. I don't think it's a very interesting show anymore. You put Nick Griffin on as a contestant, I will watch that shit. Who are you voting for this round, Nick? I'm going to vote for Narinda. Why are you voting for Narinda? Because she's a... That's all we've got time for this week. You guys have been absolutely wonderful. I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much. Goodbye. Hello. So... I'm here to talk to you about entertainment, and a lot's happening this week in the world of entertainment. We've got the Eurovision Song Contest, so yeah. They say we're not going to win, and they always say we won't win because it's political. That's why we win, because it's political. It's way simpler than that. It really is. Because if you look, right, at all the countries that never vote for us, it's always UK holiday destinations, which really isn't much of a surprise, is it? Especially the countries that we go on stag do's to. What chance have we got of getting given points by places like Estonia and the Czech Republic? It will be exactly the same this year as it is every other year. Even though blue are entering, it doesn't make any difference. They'll be
be some guy that owns a bar in Prague desperately calling up, voting for every single other country in Europe just so we don't win. I will tell you why I want the UK not to win this competition. I tell you why. Because last week I had 15 guys from Stevenage wearing the Afro wigs. They come into my cafe, they throw food at my customers. One of them is sick into traffic cone, and a man who went by the name of Rapid Dave, he fingered my daughter, so fuck you! Also in TV news this week, a new series of The Apprentice. The Apprentice has started, yeah. I love that first episode of The Apprentice. It's always my favourite one, because there's always that bit where you get to meet the contestants, and they've clearly taken them all up to a windy rooftop in the city, and a producer has asked them, is there any chance you could give us a little soundbite that would make you, in an instant, sound not only monomaniacally ambitious, but also a massive tool? They say there's no such thing as a free lunch. Well, I'm full, because for breakfast, I had a bowl of business acumen washed down with a cool glass of success. How's that? Perfect. Yeah. And he's getting harsher on them, though, isn't he, Sugar? He's got a bit of cheek, all right? Have you noticed this thing that he does as well? Every series of The Apprentice, he gets them to trick locations, gets them all excited. Lord Sugar would like you to meet him at Heathrow Airport. Oh my God, we're going to Heathrow. Where's the task going to be? Maybe Shanghai or Dubai. I've brought you here to Heathrow Airport. Every year, over 1 million people use the facilities here to take a shit. That's why this week's task is to wipe my arse. Oh, the other bit of TV gossip that we've got, very exciting. Cheryl Cole is going to America to do X Factor. Yeah. It's going to be quite hard for Cheryl, I imagine, because obviously there's quite a lot of cultural differences between Newcastle and America. She's going to have to learn about the Americanisms. Like in America, they say sidewalk, whereas in Newcastle, they say pavement. In America, when it comes to sexual contraceptives, they use rubbers. In Newcastle, they don't. That'd be a tough job, though, wouldn't it? Having to be the person that has to explain all the Americanisms to Cheryl Cole. Right, your first lesson today, Cheryl. In America, we don't use the word toilet. We use bathroom. Do you want to have a go at popping that into a sentence? Aye, pet. Someone needs to go to the bathroom because I have just kicked the shite out of the toilet attendant with my trainer. No, Cheryl. Surely, though, the most exciting piece of TV news this week, though, has got to be the start of a new series, Made in Chelsea. Oh, yeah. A new show that we will love to hate but be addicted to for the next 6 weeks. Here it is. For those of you that haven't seen it, right, Made in Chelsea is like The Only Way is Essex, but with pricks. Now, I was very worried when I heard that this show was coming out, because as someone that's quite posh myself, I was worried that, you know, people will watch it and have bad perceptions of posh people. And I was actually having a conversation the other day saying the problem with it is people will think that all posh people are like that all posh people are living in a sort of time-warped feudal hierarchy. And my butler completely agreed with me. I watched it and I missed the Essex show. I was watching it and missing the simplicity of the Essex show. I wanted the Essex show back. What I really wanted to see was a clash of the two cultures. That would be brilliant. If we had Essex coming together with Made in Chelsea, it'd be brilliant. Hello, my name's Amy. I'm a beautician. Hello, my name's Rosie Mountbatten, Montague de Lacy, the bridge over troubled water, Winstanley Fullstrop. But my friends all call me Wanky. I know, it's so random. Did I mention that one of my friends is black? I know, it's so totes ghetto. So basically, what I used to do is work in the charity industry, but I decided that I'd stop because I'd given so much back to people that matter, and also, poor people smell disgusting. Did I mention that I'm sick in my mouth every time I walk past a Primark? So after I did that, I went to work with this social media sort of multi-network.com thing. It was amazing. I had to quit after a while. They were slave drivers trying to make me work 2 hours a day. We were not having it. So me and my friends, Araminti, India, Biscotti and Halloumi, who all have the nickname Titty, which is so random, went to work for my daddy who works in diamonds. He has a mine in Zimbabwe, which is where Chelsea Davy, Harry's girlfriend's from, which is so cool because I didn't even know Zimbabwe's in Fulham, but it turns out that it is. So we're working there, which is cool. I'm vibing the shit out of diamonds, which is great because everyone always says that diamonds are a girl's best friend, which is wrong because my best friend is called Frappuccino, but we all call her Dick.
What about you? I work in diamonds as well. I put them on people's vaginas.